Diamonds on my wrist when I step up on a diamond, 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 diamonds on my wrist when I step up on
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona, every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down 3 industry articles for you and to provide some value and insight and information that you can actually apply, utilize, and see a meaningful difference in your business day in and day out. The Freight Coach Morning Show is the flagship show on the Freight Coach Network. We are live on that. Again, this is for the 97% of this industry to keep people in business, regardless of the freight market that we are seeing out there. And as always, you guys, this show is brought to you by my friends over at VHub. Asset reallocation is here. It is what is needed right now, especially in today's market. Access to trailers on a long-term, short-term, one-way repositioning basis. This is going to help you offset some of these costs for you that seem to just never stop rising at this point. So again, what they have right now is they have brand new 2022 dry vans available in Clearfield, Utah. Right now, you get paid $18.50 to bring it up to Delta, BC, which is just outside of Vancouver. They also have the exact same trailer in Paragould, Arkansas, ready to go into Delta, BC. Again, these are all brand new 2022 dry vans. And they also have them over in Glade Spring, Virginia. And you get paid $18.50 to reposition this. And again, you guys, that is on top of the freight that you could load inside of that trailer and make additional revenue to offset some of that fuel cost. And then their domestic moves that they have available are down in, San Diego, California, heading up to Spokane, Washington right now, get paid $400 to do that. And then they have some going over to Dallas, Texas, right into Irving there. So again, you get paid $500 to do that. So reach out to them, you guys, vhubapp.com. All right. My friend Stacy Steen and my friends Xavier Campos, they are going to be in the audience. Reach out to them to learn more about what they can do for you guys. We are at day 57 of the Freight Coach tally of there being a truck parking issue as well as a facilities issue in this industry. And again, I'm going to continue to talk about this until I stop hearing from our driver partners and our carrier partners out there that there's issues out there. You guys, they're sending me pictures. They see this stuff and it's just like, it's never ending. And again, we need to see meaningful change. And I'll literally stop talking about this as soon as there is some meaningful change out there in the industry to ensure that this stuff happens. Also, we got a little fuel recap. And as of a little bit ago, it's kind of odd because the fuel pricing right now is at $5. Last reported release that they'll put is $5.81 that I could find a gallon for fuel. The EIA.gov, where I normally get this from, like they stopped posting the national average on there. Like it's done. It's like the website's down essentially. So, which is very odd, odd timing and everything else that you see out there. But again, my friends over at Trucker Tools, you guys, if you have their app, which is free to drivers. So again, download that. It's free to drivers. You can put the lane that you're running in there and it will show you the most efficient fuel pricing on your route. Because again, like this is what it's all about, finding and lowering your fixed costs in any way possible. And just, be making better business decisions right now more than ever. So yeah, that's where that is. Sonny Sharma. Good morning, sir. Orange Shirt Gang, he's in the house. It's Tuesday. There's a lot going on, especially this week. It's holiday freight. It's end of month, end of quarter. All right. So what does that mean though? Me personally, this is where you need to be reaching out to all your shippers and all your receivers right now to find out about their holiday hours for this Friday, this Monday, and hell, even this Tuesday. You never know. They might be taking a floating holiday on whatever day that looks like. So get ahead of these situations. And then furthermore, with our driver partners, where are they storing this freight? That's what we need to look into right now. So it's like, if loads are picking up for you on say Thursday and they got to deliver on Tuesday now due to the transit time and the holiday and everything else, where are they storing it? Get the address of this place. Find out, is it a secure yard? Is it their house? What does this look like? Because again, the freight theft increases exponentially on the holiday weekends and everything else. So get ahead of it and be a transportation professional. That's what our customers are looking for in these around these times. So again, step up to it, and then furthermore, don't hold out this weekend. I would say starting Thursday, do not hold out for anything. It's one of those ones where it's not necessarily a money-making weekend per se for us as brokers. It's more of let's secure the right truck for our customer shipment and let's execute. That's kind of how our strategy should be every single weekend, but it's also not time to try and roll the dice and get an extra couple of bucks that are in there. Joe D'Angelo, good morning, sir. Good to see you, man. Sonny, I'm doing good. I can't complain. And yeah, you know what? Let somebody else take the fucking day off. You are right. Let somebody else take time off around this time, because like this is the money-making opportunities, because especially like, and I know I was kind of talking about this yesterday on yesterday's show, this is when people, this is when you're going to get in the door with your shippers. Like this is when you're going to get in the door with all your prospects. It's going to be a pick up on Friday night, deliver on the holiday and everything else. This is your opportunity. And are you going to be there to take that phone call, or are you going to let that go to your competition? That's one thing that you need to be very, very, very aware of. Sorry about that. Trying to get some coffee in me. Last night, I went on Instagram Live with my friend Adam Wingfield, and we had a very powerful conversation. Adam and I are friends. We get along great. We have a lot of great conversations. We don't agree on everything, and that's what makes us unique in that, right? And we had a very open and honest conversation about the dealings between brokers and carriers. And I went in and talked about some of the shady shit that I did in my career. I'm not afraid to admit that I've made mistakes, unlike some. I made mistakes in my career. I played some of these games and everything else, but we had a very open and honest conversation with each other. And it was one of my favorite conversations that we have, because like at the end of the day, yeah, there was some, I would say, in the comments and everything, rightfully so. People are frustrated. People are pissed off right now. And, Adam and I had a great conversation. There's a lot of phenomenal feedback out there. We were able to help out, because Adam's got a boot camp this Saturday for small carriers out there and keeping them in business. And he's going to go through some strategies and everything else to kind of how to make it through some of these downturns and everything. And, one of these guys who was in the comments, we saw this, like I saw like 3 or 4 of these, and it was these people, like these drivers, these companies, these owner operators are literally on the verge of selling everything. They're on the verge of giving up. And a couple of them last night said that due to our conversation, they're reinvigorated. They're not giving up. And, we pulled a gentleman up on the live stream last night with us. And, he literally had his truck up for sale at that exact moment until he heard our conversation. And then he pulled that post down. He's like, fuck it. I'm going to fail. He didn't say fuck it. That's my words. He says, I'm going to make this work. And then Adam hooked him up with a VIP seat at this boot camp this weekend, and then we also went over a strategy that he can apply to win some more profitable and consistent freight in the Atlanta, Georgia market as well. And, and that's what it's all about, is those moments right there. Cause like, that's what this shit means to me. It's that individual who literally has everything leveraged right now. They have everything on the line, and all they're trying to do is live out their American dream. And being in that conversation last night, I mean, there was like 120 people watching this thing live last night. Adam's got a massive network that's out there, but it's like, that was so it was so motivating for me to keep going with the approach that we're going on. Like that's why, like, again, that's why I put my money where my mouth is. I sponsored 5 tickets to his event. I hooked up, I was able to help out 5 owner operators to be able to have them go into these events. That's what it's all about to me. This isn't a fucking game. I'm not doing this for vanity metrics. You're never going to see me post up what my downloads are or what my clicks are, because it's not about that. It's about those conversations we had last night. It's about keeping people in business to me. Me gaining anything from that is fucking irrelevant. It's me and utilizing my network who are a lot smarter than I am with a lot of subjects on providing this information for people to stay in business right now. That's what this is all about. And that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see have this evolve into, because it's like enough of the shit slinging, enough of the us versus them. No, that us is like 97% of the fucking industry. Us is the ones that are in small business. We need to work with each other. We got to fucking put our swords down of all the historical bullshit that has happened. And we have to make progress, because as a broker, you literally have no product. You have nothing to sell if there's no capacity. You are out of business. Think about that. I could go on and on and on about this, but I just wanted to bring that up. It's hit up. If you're interested in attending this event on Saturday for Adam, this boot camp, send me a DM. I know my friends over at VHub have, I don't know if they're taking, but they had sponsored a couple of tickets for this as well. So let me know, DM me on here. I'll put you in contact with whomever. And, at the end of the day, I'm just here to help. I've been blessed. I've been blessed with this, and I want to use my network for the greater good of the industry. Steven, you work for a hot shot. What size hot shot do you have out there? If you're still on the stream, man, drop your information in there. Where do you like to run? All right. What size hot shot do you have as well? Let's talk about that. And anybody who's listening to this right now, if you have hot shot freight in Florida, after Steven puts his information in there, hook him up, hit him up. Again, let's help each other. Enough of the bullshit. I'm gonna again shout out to my friends over at Black Rifle Coffee. It's gonna be awesome when they're gonna be a partner of the Freight Coach for the Coffee with the Freight Coach. That's what I'm looking for. Black Rifle Coffee is a great coffee. I'm a member. Like, I'm such a coffee drinker now at this point. Like, because I either drink coffee or water. I just signed up for their coffee club a few months ago, and it's fucking amazing to just have 6 bags of coffee just delivered every 30 days. And I never run out. It's phenomenal. And they have great shit. They're a veteran-owned company. I love supporting companies with American-made products and everything else. So now let's jump in to some articles today. I know you guys are interested in finding out about what the fuck is going on in freight. That's what we should probably title the show. What the fuck is going on in freight at this point? First one is from, let me see here. Look at this. Hey, Steven, we got 2 people up here for you, man. Joe D'Angelo, he's got something for you. Are they 40 long, 102 wide, intra-Florida only? Yeah, man, let's put that up. And then also Drew Driscoll, let's connect. He has occasional shipments out of Jacksonville. No, this is perfect, you guys. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about right there. Hit him up, Steven, if you're still on the live stream, man, put your information out there. And how any carriers who are listening to this, put your information out here so we can help you find dedicated freight right now. First article is from FreightWaves. Again, another emphasis on the purge. Soaring inflation and crashing rates are sparking trucking's great purge. It has now shifted from the bloodbath to the purge. It is official. This is the second article in 7 days that have came out with this narrative. It goes on to say that the last trucking market crash was in 2019. The freight market crash in 2019 was caused by 2 factors: a freight slowdown due to tariffs on Chinese imports and a surge of new fleets flooding the market, even as they continued to fall. Let me see. Until 2019, we have, excuse me, sorry, the comments are popping through. Steven, he's still in the chat and he's connected. That's good to see, man. All right, it goes on. Until 2019, we had never seen that many new fleets enter the market, especially during a market downturn. During the 2019, on average, 7,200 fleets entered per month, compared to the average of 5,200 per fleets in 2018, 2019. The 2019 drop in freight volumes wasn't significant. At their deepest, tender volumes registered at a 4.6% drop in year-over-year load requests. Trucking is a commodity, and anyone who's been around the commodities market understand that it doesn't necessarily take a dramatic move on one side of the market to change the balance of supply and demand and change significant price swings. In 2019, the trucking market already had too much capacity relative to demand. The year-over-year decline was only in the mid-single digits, but it wasn't enough to push rates below carriers' operating costs. And then it goes on to list out what those operating costs are, removing the cost of diesel from the spot rate. It's, the low was 151 a mile, average 159, high is 175 a mile. And then we are nearing 2019's rock bottom with inflation adjusted spot rates, it goes on to say. And then it's, assuming a fleet averages 6,500 miles per week, 6,500 miles per truck per month, and purchased a 4-year-old used truck in 2019 at $50K, financed with 5-year interest or 5% interest, it would be about 15 cents a mile. With all of that tied in with inflation at $77,000 purchase price, similar financing terms, it'd be about 23 cents a mile right now. And then a driver employee with experience working for a top plane fleet can expect around 62 cents a mile. That driver would have had 47 cents a mile back in 2019. All in variable costs have increased 31 cents a mile for fleets to operate in 2022 compared to 2019. And these numbers are, they don't include the increase of related back to office support staff and, which can vary widely among fleets. Let me see here. It goes on to talk about capacity. Capacity matters. Of course, trucking is a two-sided market. Demand is only one part of the equation. Capacity also matters. Capacity is just really a function of how much dispatchable capacity is the market. Like in 2019, the trucking industry has seen a record number of new entrants. The number of new entrants into the trucking industry nearly doubled. Since 2020, it has averaged about 13,370 fleet per month, up from 7,200. And in April, the number hit 23,000. Large number of new entrants means that the trucking industry has many companies that are brand new, have higher cost structures because they enjoyed when the freight market was peaking, and they have never experienced a downturn. This massive surge of dispatchable capacity was built for a market that had much more freight activity. If the economy contracts further, it could spell disaster for the most vulnerable operators. So this last part is the one that really fucking drove me up the wall. Trucking spot rates will not increase significantly until the Great Purge is over. As long as the market has excess capacity, freight rates will remain depressed. It will take a substantial purge of capacity before the spot market carriers can expect relief. Essentially, it's saying once all of these new entrants go out of business, that's when people can start making money again. Again, I am 1,000% against advocacy of any fucking sense for somebody to go out of business. I am 1,000% against it. And I know that you can take that sentence and say, oh, that's not what was meant, but that's the way I perceived it. And I know that's the way some of these fucking drivers perceived it as well, because I've heard it directly from them. And to sit here and say that once these people go out of business, that's when the markets are going to expect relief, that is so counterproductive. Again, I'm thinking about the real drivers that I talked to last night, the real drivers who I speak with, and they have everything on the line. And this is what they fucking see. Like, this is fucking outrageous to me. Outrageous. The validity behind the statement is irrelevant. All right. To me, it's the fact that there is, again, nothing in this that provides them information to stay in business. That's my family that they're talking about right there. Literally, my blood relatives that are behind the wheel, that are owner-operators. Once you peasants get out the fucking way, that's the way that I perceive this shit. I can't, because again, it's the beating the drum of the Great Purge, and again, I understand that it is not anybody's responsibility but the business owner to know their fixed costs. But it's just talking about taking somebody who is already on their last leg and then reading something like this, and then that's just pushes them over the edge and says, fuck it, I'm giving up. We will never do that on this platform, ever. We will never, ever, ever do this on this platform. So it's like right now, all right, so let's take that one point. If your fixed costs have increased right now, you are at, hold on, I'm not going to spend too much time finding these exact numbers in here again. Now, fuck it, I will, because it's very relative to the fact. All right, so you're at a 7 cents a mile 8 cents a mile increase right now is where you're sitting at right now. This isn't including fuel and everything else in there. But again, if you remove the national average from the narrative, and again, there is freight out there that is substantially over the national average. So if you stop paying attention to that, if you remove that from the fact that, yeah, you know what, it's not wrong that the national average is sitting at a certain thing, but that is an overall conglomerate of data. That is not every single lane that is out there. That is not every single shipment that is out there on the spot market right now. That is incorrect. There is freight that runs on the spot market right now that pays substantially more than this. Okay. So for me personally, if you're out there, and this is what we talked about last night with this driver, you know, that the one that my man Adam hooked up with his VIP ticket, we talked about establishing yourself. He was located in the Atlanta, Georgia market, and then running Atlanta to Atlanta, for example, getting some dedicated runs that are out there, going and going into the shipper and speaking to them. This is where you want to run. There is plenty of local Atlanta freight. And then from there, you can reduce your overhead due to the fact that your fuel burn isn't going to be as much. You're going to be running less miles for a higher rate per mile. And your average day, I guarantee right now, local Atlanta freight is probably, you can set yourself up to gross about $1,000 a day if you have a 53-foot trailer out there. Because even before all this shit was going on, local LA freight, which I operated in, local Dallas freight, local Atlanta freight, which I've moved at volume, paid around $5. At that time, it was probably about $4 to $4.50. So you got to figure right now, and again, local Atlanta freight is probably paying around $5.50. If you can get 2 turns in a day, you're going to gross $1,100 a day, and you're not going to drive more than 100 miles. You know, again, this is what people can do. All right. Literally, you have to look at that, because if you're looking from an overall structure right now, the highest rejected, and we'll even call it, I don't want to call it neglected freight, but the freight that isn't as appealing is going to be your local freight, and it's going to be your 250 to maybe 350 mile radius freight. That's where the greatest opportunity is to get in the door. All right. Because that's like the least desirable freight, because everybody wants miles. Everybody wants long haul. Everybody wants those high dollar loads. But there's a lot of opportunity inside of the local and smaller market. Tampa, Florida, dude, hit up my friends over at AFC, Kyle Ingram. If you're listening right now, he's in Tampa. I want you to reach out to him, man. But again, that's not for I'm not sure about the Tampa area, but that's for a 53-foot drive in. I'm not sure what a hot shot can run local Tampa like that, man. I don't know what the rate is for that, but 53-foot drive in, 53-foot reefer, 53-foot flatbed, I know that there's a lot of opportunity in there to stay local and turn a solid rate in that network, man. Again, you guys can hit that. I put all the links and stuff out there for you guys to go. The replay on the audio, Coffee with the Freight Coach, and then on my YouTube channel, The Freight Coach. All the links are out there. Again, you guys do your own research, read these articles yourselves, formulate your own opinions that are out there. Again, I'm just giving you my opinion based off of my experience in the industry. And yeah, Cody, that was to Steven. He's got a flatbed. Perfect. Let's go. Let's go. Help Steven out. Help keep Steven in business, you guys. If you have freight, he's in the Tampa, Florida area right now. He's got a 40-foot flatbed, 40-foot trailer, hot shot with mega ramps, flatbed. Steven, if I were you, man, I would go into some of those rental facilities. You know, go out there to some of those rental facilities for construction equipment. If you have ramps on that, especially, man, you can load up skid steers. You can load up smaller pieces like that, man. You might be able to run local Florida. You might be able to run Tampa to Jacksonville and stuff like that, man. Check it out. Look into that. There's a lot more freight out there than we think. All right. Sonny says, anyone in the California market on here? Hit up Sonny Sharma. He's a member of the Orange Shirt Gang. Just throwing that out there. Kudos. We all got to do that one day. We got to have orange shirt gangs. Second article that we're going to break down today is from transportdive.com. Laws governing autonomous trucks complicate widespread adoption. Shocking. We've kind of already talked about this, but here we are. Like we had talked about, autonomous is going to be a thing, but there is a lot of red tape that needs to be overcome before there will be widespread adoption to this and to where you will see this actually happen. It says that autonomous trucks are hitting the roads in the states across the country, completing pilot runs and increasingly commercial routes. But as more fleets look to automate it in the next phase of innovation, a patchwork of state laws governing the technology can be a stumbling block, aka the states aren't fucking buying it. At least 20 states have passed legislation related to autonomous vehicles, with Kansas and Oklahoma recently joining the list. While some states like Texas are known for their automated vehicle-friendly legislation, others are more restricted against the deployment of driverless technology. Our biggest inconsistency is the levels of regulations that exist, says Brian Ursino. He's the director of law enforcement at the American Association of Motor Vehicles Administrators. Automated trucking companies have so far flocked to the Sunbelt states for pilot routes so that they can have ideal driving weather conditions. So again, these things are operating great when it's perfect driving conditions, but let's see how they operate in the snow. California, meanwhile, is among those states that have taken a more stringent approach. The state requires approved permits and everything else, which, I get, like you would want that to be done. And autonomous vehicles have taken a state-by-state approach to advocacy. And it goes on to say that the variation in the state regulations creates an opportunity for autonomous trucking companies to shape legislation in the early stages. It's really a matter of sitting down with policymakers when you run into those sort of challenges to find a way forward, aka how much contribution do we need to your campaign to have this fucking change? I'm just kidding. That's just my. The flip side of this is adjusting the product that will fit whatever is needed for compliance. Still, for some state regulators, it's unclear how the federal oversight will interact with the updated autonomous technology. And then the last thing we want to do is start encouraging people to do something that we will then be in trouble for. I would agree with that. I think that, again, with where all of we are in this, is this a futuristic thing? Yeah, it's a thing. They're developing the technology. It's going to be out there eventually, but there's a lot of fucking hurdles. And again, this isn't going to be a widespread adoption, because the beauty of this being a backed by small business industry as we are, you don't have to buy an autonomous truck. You're still going to be able to operate out there. Again, it's a good article. All right, I'll give it that. Laws governing autonomous trucks complicate widespread adoption. That's from transportdive.com. Hit it up. And then also the last one is from my friends over at the JOC. Containers clog a BNSF Dallas terminal amid lack of chassis. This was a good article as well. It talks about the backlogs that are out there and like what happens when it goes into and they have to shift chassis from, one certain market to a next to accommodate an influx in imports and everything else. I view this as a massive opportunity. So right now, you're going to have shippers and customers of yours who have freight and storage that are going to need to they're going to need to pull that out there. If you have access to chassis right now, you're going to be extremely busy for the foreseeable future, it looks like. And then from there, it's where do we cross stock this? So I would, my friends, Matt Fain at Pop Capacity, reach out to him, especially if you're in need of warehouse space. But to me personally, like, this is where you can literally increase your market share with your customers. You guys get in the door with them based on the fact that you can solve this issue. All right. All we need to do is find chassis. It's not saying like there is no chassis out there. There's just a shortage of them. And then furthermore, what can we do about maybe putting a 20-foot, depending on where depending on where the containers are and everything else and the accessibility of them, you could possibly, because I've done this before with hot shots, is they tossed a 20-foot container on a hot shot and drove it out there to their facility. And then they just like hand offloaded it. Because again, desperate times call for desperate measures, you guys. And for me, it's like, what can we do to step outside of the box? So it is finding that cross-stock solution. It's finding that third-party warehouse that we can bring this into. And if you have access to chassis or something along those lines, what can you do to bring a solution to your customer? That is what you need to look at this. This is an opportunity. A lot of people are going to view this as, oh, that's a problem. It's not always a problem. There are massive opportunities in any freight market, you guys. And this is what keeps you in business, is by providing solutions and not quitting. All right. That article, again, it was well written. We're kind of up on time, but that was from my friends at the JOC. Containers clogged BNSF Dallas terminal. And again, it's a massive opportunity right now, you guys. There's a massive opportunity in this market because someone's gonna do it, and that's the way you need to look at this. Someone is going to be moving this freight. Somebody is going to make money in this market shift. Is it going to be you, or is it going to be your competition? I can guarantee you It will not be you if you quit. There is plenty of opportunities out there for you. It is just not going to be the traditional way of just going to the load boards. All right. There is in all reality, 90% of the freight never makes it to the load board. If you're effectively brokering at volume, at scale, you are very rarely going to a load board. It is all going out to your dedicated carriers who work with you on a consistent basis. That's who gets the most freight. So if you think about it, it's almost like 10% of the freight makes it to the spot market, yet 90% of the carriers want to try and operate on the spot market. You got to think differently right now. You have to reach out and try and get those direct shipper contacts. And that's just as simple as showing up. That's how I built my books of business in the past. Just showed up at shippers and introduced myself, And then furthermore, there are some great brokers out there that are going to be able to set you up for success. So that's it for today. Freight Coach Morning Show. We're live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to bring the realities of this industry. I appreciate you guys. If you see value in this, if you saw value in this, share the show. All right. If you're a driver, share the show. If you want to be a part of this, if you want to talk on this show, you're a driver, you're experiencing this, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you because, again, that's how all of this stuff is going to progress. I appreciate you guys all so much, and we'll be talking.